A very good afternoon to you. This is TV Sapienza on Star Times channel 260. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of July 2025. My name is Joe Imo. In our news headlines this afternoon, the Dangote Refinery has announced a reduction in the ex-depot price of premium motor spirit, PMS, commonly known as Petrol, lowering it from 880 naira to 840 naira per litre. The Delta State Police Command has issued a warning to residents stating that indecent dressing now attracts penalties under the state's Violence Against Persons Prohibition or VAPP Law. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SSANU, has asked the federal government to release the remaining 2 months withheld salaries of their members who participated in the 2022 strike. And the Lagos State government is set to commence enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics in markets and other places from today, July 1st, 2025. Now the details of the news. The Dangote Refinery has announced a reduction in the ex-depot price of premium motor spirit, PMS, otherwise known as Petrol, lowering it from 880 naira to 840 naira per litre. The adjustment was confirmed by the group's spokesperson, Mr. Anthony Chejina. Chejina said PMS price has been reduced from 880 naira to 840 naira per litre, effective 30th June. Following Dangote's move, its distribution partners, including MRS, Hayden, and AP, are expected to adjust their pump prices in line with the new rate. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has grounded a Rano Air plane after a mid-air engine failure and fire scare. The aviation regulator noted that the Kanu to Sokoto-bound flight operated by the airline made an air return following the incident on Sunday, June 29, 2025. The fire scare was noticed on the flight deck and created panic among passengers. NCAA spokesperson Michael Achimogu said the pilots of the plane marked 5N/BZY reported the incident to air traffic controllers and necessary steps were activated for emergency landing. Achimogu said the Rano aircraft experienced a failure in its engine, but the pilot safely landed the aircraft without any incident. He said the NCAA Directorate of Airworthiness instructed that the aircraft's 5N/BZY remain grounded until the conclusion of investigations. 4 policemen were feared killed on Sunday at Udei community in Benue State by suspected herdsmen who attacked the community. A local source told correspondents that the policemen responded to a distress call by the community. Upon their arrival, they asked the community youths to pull back as there were no signs of attack on them. The policemen, it was guarded, then fired warning shots into the air, only to be returned by suspected herdsmen who laid ambush, planning to attack the community. 4 policemen were feared killed on the spot. The attack was said to have caused panic, which led residents to flee from Udei, which is a few kilometers from Yewata, where suspected herdsmen killed scores of villagers on June 13, 2025. The Imo State Police Command has arrested a 42-year-old suspected child trafficker and rescued 12 children believed to have been stolen. In a statement released yesterday in Owerri, the command's spokesperson, DSP Henry Okoye, revealed that the suspect, a woman from Umudim, Ohekelem, in Ngopala local government area, was apprehended on June 20th during a stop-and-search operation along the Owerri-Aba Expressway. Okoye said the arrest of the suspect led to the uncovering of a disturbing child trafficking network that specialized in exploiting minors for street begging in Aba, Abia State. He explained that upon her arrest, the suspect was found with several children whose conditions raised suspicions. The police spokesperson said the suspect confessed to trafficking children from Ngopala to Aba, where they were forced into street begging. Okoye disclosed that the 12 rescued children aged between 5 and 13 are from various communities in Ngokbala local government area of Imo State. Speaking, the State Police Commissioner Aboki Danjuma condemned all forms of child trafficking and warned that anyone involved in such acts would face the full wrath of the law. Danjuma also reassured the public of the command's commitment to protecting the rights and dignity of every child in the state. The Delta State Police Command has issued a warning to residents stating that indecent dressing now attracts penalties under the state's Violence Against Persons Prohibition or VAPP Law. In a post published on its official X handle, the command said the move was aimed at raising public awareness of laws many residents may not be aware of. The post focused on Section 29 of the VAPP Law, which addresses indecent exposure. It warns that those who intentionally expose their private parts in public face a fine of up to 50,000 naira or may be sentenced to perform community service or both upon conviction. The statement said the law also addresses female genital mutilation, harmful widowhood practices, battery, abandonment of dependents, and forceful ejection from the home. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, or SSANU, has asked the federal government to release the remaining 2 months withheld salaries of their members who participated in the 2022 strike. The union also decried the persistent delay in salary payments to federal universities, often weeks after other federal workers have been paid. These were some of the issues discussed at the 51st National Executive Council or NEC meeting of SSANU held at Aliko Dangote University of Science and Technology, Udei, Kano State. In a communique issued at the end of the NEC meeting and signed by the National President of SSANU, Comrade Mohammed Ibrahim, the union demanded the immediate harmonization of salary disbursements across all federal and state institutions to ensure fairness and equity. SSANU also expressed disappointment over the continued silence and inaction of the federal government's renegotiation committee regarding the 2009 FG/SSANU agreement. He said that the prolonged delay in commencing substantive discussions was unacceptable, demanding the immediate resumption and timely conclusion of the renegotiation process to address the long-standing concerns of its members to avert an industrial crisis in the university system. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on the Oversight of Rivers State has queried the sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ebok Ete Ebas, retired, over some expenditure in the 1.48 trillion naira 2005 budget. This followed the appearance of the state delegation before the committee at a budget defense session held at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Speaking at the event, the chairman of the committee and House Majority Leader, Professor Julius Ihonvere, noted that having reviewed the budget, there were areas of concern that needed some clarity. A statement issued by the House spokesperson, Akin Rotimi, revealed that the committee identified gray areas, including 24 billion naira allocated for the installation of CCTV systems at the Rivers State Government House, 30 billion naira earmarked for the procurement of gumboots, and 23 billion naira listed under a contingency provision without detailed justification. The committee also faulted the decision of the Rivers State government to fund projects constitutionally under the purview of the federal government. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has directed the University of Uyo State to withdraw its current advertisement for the position of Vice Chancellor in the institution and publish a revised version which is inclusive. The directive follows a protest by the clinical lecturers under the auspices of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, which had threatened to embark on a strike over what it described as discriminatory criteria in the selection process. The development comes as clinical lecturers at the University of Calabar called off their indefinite strike. The clinical lecturers raised concerns over the adverse qualification requirements, which they argued unfairly excluded medical professionals holding fellowships from eligibility. The MDCAN insisted that the institutions must withdraw the advertorial announcing a vacancy for the vice-chancellors and accommodate its members. The Lagos State government is set to commence enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics in markets and other places from today, July 1, 2025. The enforcement begins following the expiration of an 18-month moratorium granted after the initial announcement in January 2024. The ban prohibits the sale and use of disposable plastic bags, including the widely used black nylon bags. Speaking to newsmen, the special advisor to the governor on environment, Olakunle Rotimi Akodu, confirmed that the enforcement would start today with a press conference at Alausa, after which teams would move to markets. He said the Lagos State governor held a series of meetings with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, private bodies, business entities, and those who have something to do with the value chain of the supplies. To end the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a reduction in the ex-depot price of premium motor spirit, PMS, otherwise known as Petrol, lowering it from 880 naira to 840 naira per litre. The Delta State Police Command has issued a warning to residents, stating that indecent dressing now attracts penalties under the state's Violence Against Persons Prohibition, or VAPP Law. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SSANU, has asked the federal government to release the remaining 2 months' withheld salaries of their members who participated in the 2022 strike. And finally, the Lagos State government is set to commence enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics in markets and other places from today, July 1, 2025. That was the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.